Hey, and welcome to Board with Life News for January 18th. Today I'm going to talk about expansions for Terraforming Mars, Flom Rouge, Star Wars Destiny, the Century Trilogy, as well as the Kickstarter for Keyway 10. Let's get to it. Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to Board with Life News. I'm back for the new year doing weekly news as normal. If you missed it last week, I did my top 10 games of 2016, so definitely go check that out if you haven't yet, if you're interested in what I enjoyed in the past year. And spoiler alert, if you follow me on social media or anything, my favorite game was Flom Rouge, because of course. All right, into board game news. Stronghold Games announced that there's going to be 4 different expansions coming for Terraforming Mars in the coming years. There will be 2 coming out this year, the first of which is called Hellas and Elysium. This is going to be a 2-sided board with different maps, so, you know, where normally you're playing on Mars, now you're playing on different parts of Mars. Each new map will have new milestones and awards. They have also announced that because they've had trouble, obviously, keeping Terraforming Mars in stock, it sold out very quickly. They have done the largest print run ever in their company's history for the second print run of Terraforming Mars, so it should be here sooner than later, so there should be plenty of copies if you haven't been able to get your hands on one. Stronghold Games also announced that they're going to be bringing over Flom Rouge to the US. As I said at the opening of this, Flom Rouge was my favorite game of last year. It's probably one of my top 5 games of all time. It is an absolutely wonderful game. I'm really excited that it's going to be distributed in the US because I want more people to be able to play it. It's a very simple bicycle racing game that has just the simplest mechanics, but it's just so good. I absolutely love it. I really wish Stronghold would do something about the minis in the game. They're tiny little cyclist minis that are very hard to distinguish which is which. You have 2 cyclists and they're different, but I doubt they will, but that would be really cool and make me really excited if they did do that. Star Wars Destiny, another one of my favorite games from last year, has announced their next round of boosters. It's going to be called Spirit of Rebellion. This is sort of Rogue One focused. It's not entirely Rogue One focused because they've announced that none of their expansions are going to be just one single Star Wars thing, but it's going to have a bunch of Rogue One characters like Jyn Erso, but it also has characters like Emperor Palpatine. So very excited about this because I really, really like that game. It's going to be coming out the second quarter of 2017, so not for 4 or 5 more months. They are going to be doing 3 expansions a year, so that is a pretty good pace to keep everything fresh, but also not overload you with stuff. They've had a lot of trouble keeping Star Wars Destiny stuff in stock, so hopefully they can remedy that a little bit. And let me give a huge shout out to Joshua Benzinger, who sent me a bunch of his extra cards when I was getting into the game and I couldn't get boosters so that I could deck build. That was very, very nice of him, and I very appreciate it. The new company, Plan B Games, has announced their first title. It's going to be Century Spice Road by Emerson Matsuuchi. Plan B Games is a company that's formed out of the merger between F2Z Games and Asmodee Games. A lot of the employees of Plan B Games didn't go with that merger. I don't know if they weren't allowed to or didn't want to, whatever. And they have formed this other company, Plan B Games. They have a bunch of upcoming games they're going to be announcing, including one by Matt Leacock, so obviously big stuff there. Century Spice Road is a game that was formerly called Caravan, which had the Spice Road edition and the Crystal Golem edition that a lot of people were excited about. Unfortunately, we're no longer getting a Crystal Golem version, but instead, now that it's Century, it's going to be a trilogy of games, all that share similar mechanics and can be combined with each other, which is pretty exciting. I've played Caravan, so assuming it's pretty similar to that, I really enjoyed it. It's a Euro game. It's so simple, but it's really good, interesting. It kind of feels a little bit like Splendor, where you're kind of building up a supply of stuff, but I liked it significantly more than Splendor. So definitely looking forward to this. That I think they said it's coming out at Origins this year. This week's Kickstarter is for Keyway 10, a game whose name I've had trouble saying, and I've had to record this little bit 5 times already because I can't say it well. It has absolutely gorgeous art. It has these really adorable little minis of your kind of fantasy mice that are floating on leaves. It's very cute. This I'm recommending wholly because the art and design, the graphic design is so clean, so beautiful. It's a really good looking game. The mechanics seem really, really simple. I don't know how much actual game there is there, but if you're like me and are so taken by the art that you can't not back it, then maybe check this out. I will also say it's a new company. They say that it's going to be shipping in April, which is a really fast turnaround for Kickstarters, and it has a pretty low price point for a game with minis, so again, back at your own risk. But it is $27 right now on Kickstarter. That's the news for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to this channel as well as follow me on social media. I'm at Chris Bryan Games on Twitter and Instagram. Also, I run a Patreon. That is what allows me to do these videos, thanks to the generous support of my backers. So go check that page out and see if there's a level that you would like to back at, because even $1 a month really, really helps me out being able to make these videos. All right, this week's question comes from @LeviMoat, and they ask, New Year's gaming resolutions? I guess I didn't make like strict ones or anything, but I'll keep mine from last year, which was to get 365 plays in, as well as attempt to do the 10x10 challenge again. I think my main focus this year in terms of gaming is going to be getting a lot of my game designs produced. Donald and I are starting a board game company that we hope to have a game out on Kickstarter this year that we're really, really excited about, that we've been working on for the past year or so. I've also got several more designs that have been kind of in limbo and floating and have been signed, and I've gotten some of them back, and they're kind of in a gray area. So I'm going to work really hard on both doing more designs and also kind of like getting my designs that have been sitting there for a couple years actually into people's hands this year, or at least on the path to being in people's hands this year. So yeah, that's my hope for the new year. All right, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week.